Hey, everybody, and welcome to another jam-packed edition of the OverMark Podcast. I'm Dave, and I've got to introduce you to the man who's never really left the 90s. He's the guy who still thinks rewinding a VHS tape is a sacred ritual, and the one who wore out his Blockbuster card renting wrestling tapes and Nintendo 64 games. The only person who I know who could quote Beavis and Butthead while explaining a finishing sequence. He's a living proof that new metal still rules the world. Let's give it up for my main man, TJ.
Oh. Yeah, you know, I wish new metal still ruled the world, but that ship has sailed, man. It's still it's still real to us, right?
Yeah. I think about 2000, what was it, like 2003, 2004, that when like the new wave of American metal took over, when it was like, you know, Lamb of God, Unearth, Shadows Fall, you know, bands of those types.
Yes.
Kind of replaced on the gone were the giant baggy pants and cool outfits, and then in were the guys wearing pants that they literally bought at the girls section.
It's funny how that happened, huh? From Jinko to women's jeans.
And, you know, a funny thing about that is the big jeans I'm seeing are making a comeback here.
They're expensive.
Yeah, dude, I saw the new Jinkos. They were like, I think like $100 and
they got ones more than that.
$70 or something.
They got ones more than that.
It was like almost, and it's just like, you know, accounting for inflation and everything, they still shouldn't cost that much. But whatever, we're getting off topic here.
Hold on real quick.
Good to see you, TJ.
Have you seen how much the old ones are that are in good condition?
No, but I'm scared to look because I got a drawer full of them.
Thousands. Like
really?
As long as they're not like destroyed and they're in good condition, like $2,000. Yeah, you got to look at that, man.
I'm gonna be that drawer that's 3 drawers below my T-shirt drawer that I showed you has all of my old pants in it, like that.
Yeah, like that. Those are legit. The people want them. You know, like people wore them and then like fucked up the back because they were too big, and you know they like drugged the denim on the back.
Yeah, I mean every single one of them is gonna have fucked up bottoms. I mean that's just the nature of pants that big.
But and then you just know how like kids were. It's like they didn't have a lot of money, so they wore the same pair over and over and over again. So you know there's a lot of wear in a school year. If you went to the mall after school, did you go to the mall too? Like, yeah, you weren't shit unless you had some Jinko jeans on and a Flamehead T-shirt that you chewed the thumbs out of, so your thumbs go through the holes.
Right, and you have to put a band shirt on over the long sleeve shirt. Yes, sir.
You nailed it. And then I didn't do the Chuck Taylor stuff. I just wore like other like skateboarding shoes.
Vans, Etnies, DCs. You know, the big
Etnies,
fluffy ones.
Etnies were my favorite. Sometimes they had some really cool shoes, and they had like some leather ones. Way off topic.
That's okay. Hopefully everybody knows what we're talking about.
If you're, I think like 28 and below, there's no possible way that you know what we're talking about.
Oh, no. Well, on that note, speaking of what we're talking about, we're going to be talking about Smackdown from September 26th, 2025. Collision from September 27th, 2025. We got some news. Things we're going to discuss that may or may not have sucked this week. Kind of some goofy shit going on. Follow us on all of our socials at OverMarkENT. You know.
That's good thinking. Why didn't I ever think of that?
I don't know. Would you like to go into SmackDown or would you like to do Collision?
You can do SmackDown. I think I did Raw last week.
All right, cool. Here we go. So we've got
earlier.
SmackDown from September 26th, 2025. They had an attendance of looks like 9,831. They were set up for 10,293. So it looks like they had about 462 left over. They may or may not have filled it. I don't look pretty full on TV, but who knows? So jumping on into it here, we had Randy Orton helped Cody Rhodes take out Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed for the little opener promo segment. I didn't hate this. Also, Randy Orton is giant compared to all of these guys, even Bronson Reed.
He's obviously eventually going to turn on Cody, so all this is just like the creep up to that.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing him, though.
I don't hate that. Yeah. And then we had the Street Profits defeating Mello Don't Miz in a number one contenders tag team title match. And I thought it was all right. Obviously they're telling the story of Mello slowly turning on the Miz here, and it's all right. It's just all right.
The thing that stuck out to me here is, regardless of maybe of like his style, like the Miz is trying. He's like cutting these fiery promos, and like, you can't say that he's phoning it in. At least in my opinion.
No, he does a really good job, actually. Well, speaking of jobs, we have Julia and Kiana James defeating Michin and BFAB in the battle of I couldn't get this off of my TV fast enough. I love Julia, Kiana James, smoking hot lawyer lady or whatever her gimmick is. I don't know. And then Michin and BFAB. I just, Michin is a good utility player. I suppose I could do without BFAB.
I wanted to be done with this the second it came on the TV, man. Like, to put it like short, like when you're watching this match and they're coming out, it just feels like the formulaic SmackDown match that doesn't mean anything. You're just watching it like, oh, here we go. I've seen this 1,000 times.
Yeah. Well, and then we had a injured Drew McIntyre initiating a brawl with Jacob Fatu, resulting in a Samoan Werewolf attacking Drew McIntyre with his own protective boot. I don't hate this. This will be a good feud. Seems like we hadn't seen Jacob Fatu for a minute, so this will be a good little deal to help elevate him, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the thing that came out today, but apparently they're kind of pitching that they want to really push Fatu over the moon and have him beat Cody randomly at a pay-per-view here soon and establish him as a top guy. Who knows whether that's true or not, but this will make sense why he's kind of jumping right to the guy that Cody just got done with.
Well, and speaking of, we got Sami Zayn defeating Javon Evans in a U.S. title open challenge. Young old, I say young old, but yeah, he's young. He's like 23 years old, an NXT guy.
It was all right.
It's all right. I remember seeing him in AEW for like a minute.
Was he?
Yeah.
When was that? Like 4 years ago? 5?
A really long time ago. I remembered the name and I was like, isn't that a guy that I saw in AEW? And sure enough, I looked it up and that was a guy that I did in fact see in AEW.
Well, good for him that he's getting paid to work in front of people still.
Yeah, moving on up, as the kids say. Well, speaking of moving on up, this match was the opposite of that. We got Tiffany Stratton defeating Jade Cargill and Nia Jax in a triple threat WWE Women's Championship botch fest. Boy, this is just not great. Yeah.
We'll get into this in more depth later, so like check that out later in the podcast. But this in theory was, and we were talking about this earlier in the day, like, man, they should not have Nia Jax and Jade Cargill in a match together anymore.
No.
And they keep doing it. And we thought that, I mean, you never can say like, oh, what, I think this is going to happen. But, when you're thinking, I don't know, you shouldn't be able to think that these people are going to have an increased chance to hurt each other is what I'm saying. And you do going into something like this.
Yep. Well, speaking of things that hurt or don't hurt, we're going to move on to high point, low point. And usually this doesn't hurt. And my high point was the Drew and Jacob segment. There wasn't a whole lot to do here. It was kind of a feast or famine situation. So, yeah.
Mine was Sammy versus Javon. I thought it was a decent match. These U.S. Open Championship challenges, kind of like a staple of the shows here and there, depending on who has the belt. And Sammy's a pretty decent at it, you know, just highlighting a young guy. That's exactly what this is for. So mission accomplished, I guess.
So, well, we'll move on to the low point, and it looks like we're gonna have the same one. I think here we had for me it was that main event Botch Fest. It had just horrible stuff. Made the program worse than it already was, and yeah, we'll go more into it. But yeah,
I had the same thing. Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Jade and Nia. Just a recipe for disaster, you know. Don't you want Tiffany to look like $1 million? Don't put her in there with these people. You got a whole bunch of people, like she could be feuding with Julia already. You know, could you imagine how badass that would be?
Yeah, this is kind of like AEW type of booking, just throwing people together that people don't want to see together instead of throwing people together that everybody's clamoring to see. I guess maybe they're saving it. Who knows?
They don't have
show ranking.
They don't have a lot of big heel women, so she's one of them.
I guess. But circling around, show rankings. What'd you give it?
2.
And me too. Just shitty episode, you know, just not great. Well below average. The main event, you know, I don't even know that I would have gave the show a 3, you know, had the main event been better. Pretty overall lackluster.
AI could come up with a better fucking show than this.
You know, maybe we'll do an episode about that one day where we have AI book an episode of SmackDown or Raw, and then we'll go over the AI booking and see if it's good or not.
All right, that sounds good. Put that down or something more. That's definitely something that maybe we'll be able to have done before the next show. But speaking of the next show, we're going to talk about AEW Collision here. It's funny because they were in a Marshall Health Network Arena in Huntington, West Virginia, which is semi-close to where I used to live, you know, within about an hour and a half. So, because, you know, I used to live in Maryland. Yeah. So they had an attendance of 2,021, and they had 284 left, so they could have filled it with 2,305. I'm sure they were close or had a sellout. But overall, we're going to jump right into this quick match results because they got a lot of it, so we can be quick with these if you want. So they had Kyle Fletcher attacking Hologram. So Hologram's injured, so this is how they wrote him off the show. Because remember, they were going to have that match.
Oh, yeah, the hologram versus the evil hologram or whatever the hell.
Well, no, Kyle Fletcher, remember? He undefeated streak versus TNT Championship that was going to be happening at the 6th at Dynamite this week. So that he got injured.
Did we already miss the hologram versus hologram? Or
that's not going to happen now because Hologram's injured.
Okay, so we didn't miss it, though. Okay.
No, they did a vignette for him as recent as Saturday.
Well, I must have missed that.
So something else that I'm sure that you wanted to miss was this trios match with Jon Moxley, Daniel Garcia, and Claudio Italian Food of the Death Riders defeating Daddy Magic, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong.
Oh, god damn it, man.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing I said when I watched that match. Jeez, I'm just tired of these fucking guys.
Yeah, I mean, they just won't go away, man. It's like they're plastered all over both shows, and it's like I just don't want anything to do with them. But speaking more of that, Brody King has some big news for the Don Callis family. So basically it was just him saying that like he wants to beat him up, and that's his new thing. But good for him, I guess. I'm not going to hate on it, but at least he's talking. Right?
That is true. That is very true. Don't know how much interesting things that he's talking about, but he's able to talk pretty well.
Yeah. And then we have a mixed tag team match with Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir of the Death Riders defeating Rosario Grillo and Rachel Ellering. Why would anybody give a fuck about this?
Yeah, I have no idea on this one. That's kind of
Have you noticed how they haven't had a mixed tag team match really a whole bunch of times before WWE had theirs, and now they've had like a couple since? It's like they got to get in on it, right?
Like, oh, they did it.
Yep.
We'll do it too.
Hangman Page and Samoa Joe and Powerhouse Hobbs are united, so they did a promo in the back where Hangman Page is going to work with Samoa Joe since that Shibata's out. It's like, who fucking cares about this too? I know you don't.
Nope. Not at all.
Max Caster and Anthony Bowens defeated the Swirl, Blake Christian and Lee Johnson. At least they're trying to get them back together. That's all I can say.
Horrible name.
Nick Wayne is coming for Christian Cage. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, that's... sounds degenerate.
TJ wants the AEW Women's World Tag Team titles. I guess at least they got a tag team build in there for their new belts.
Well, okay, I guess. I don't know.
Trios match.
Put the belt on the girls with the asses, I guess. I don't know.
I'm not saying they should win it. I'm just saying at least they have some women to be in the division, because they have teamed together for a while in the show compared to other women, is what I'm saying. They have a little bit of history together tagging. But Dalton Castle and the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd defeated KM, Corey Sparks, and Cowpoke Paul. What the fuck? I actually don't mind Dalton Castle, and the Outrunners are okay, so at least it's cool seeing him featured on the show.
Yeah, same. As far as the guys they were wrestling, I couldn't speak much on, but it was cool to see Castle and the Outrunners out there.
Mark Briscoe and MJF are headed in different directions. It was a Mark Briscoe promo where he's saying he's just moving on to other stuff. It was cool. Yeah. Hopefully they do something with Mark, because I feel like he is more talented than most of the people that they have on the show. He deserves it.
Yep. And they're probably going to put him in some kind of dumbass program with a guy that looks like he weighs 150 pounds, and it'll be not great, but whatever. Hoping the best for old Mark,
Same here. And then we had the TNT Championship Open Challenge, the Protostar, Kyle Fletcher defeating Commander. And it's like, I had a hard time defeating Boredom. This is strange, he just went neck and neck with the world champion, and now he's going neck and neck with Commander. So is Commander capable of going neck and neck with the world champion, or is everybody capable of doing that? That doesn't make sense, does it?
Nope. There's levels to how people are booked, and everybody on these shows just appear that they're all booked at the same level.
Yeah, and there's just a hair, just one mistake that separates everybody from the lowest to the highest. I mean, I know we've discussed that before, and you don't even have to have squash matches, but let Commander get a couple of his things in, and then have Kyle Fletcher just beat him up. Pretty simple shit. So, and then after that, we had a tornado tag team match with Eddie Kingston and Hook defeating Big Bill and Brian Keith. I'm not going to say I hated this match. It's not like I was like jumping for joy watching it, but it's just a shame how they're booking Big Bill. You at least need one big guy on the show that's dominant, and they have him right here, and it's never going to happen.
Nope, it's pretty goofy.
The Bang Bang Gang.
Well,
sorry, did you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, sorry.
You're good.
And then the Bang Bang Gang introduced a new member. I don't know. To be honest,
I don't even remember who it was.
Me either. So that tells you
pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. And then Jamie Hayter defeating Julia Hart of the Triangle Madness. Yeah, and then she called for blood and guts or whatever. It was an okay match, but
I like both of these gals.
Same. That's what I'm saying. It was an okay match, but I don't know. I don't want to get into the spiel that we usually do, but this isn't really the main event quality stuff, At least I don't think it is. I think they have...
Yeah. I mean, for it to be main event quality, other stuff... Never mind. It was okay. It was fine. Just move on.
Okay. I would just appreciate like a big match promoted the whole show, and then there's a payoff at the end. Whereas this really didn't have that. But we've been over that 100 times. So no need to beat a dead horse with it. And then we can get to the high point, low point here, and mine was the Mark Briscoe promo.
Mine was the Hayter and Hart match. I like both of these gals,
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. My point was mainly just like the position on the show,
Yeah. It should have not been the main event. Probably like a first hour Jones.
Yeah, I think
maybe first match.
No,
or 9 o'clock hour.
I think 9 o'clock would be perfect for that, because then you could build that up a little bit and then still have a quality main event, which definitely wouldn't be when you look at every other match on the show. I mean, what the fuck on that's main event?
I don't know. I guess they'd probably throw the Moxley stuff as the main event, I assume.
I'm not into that, and I'm sure you're not either. But
no, sir.
My low point.
What was your high point? Did you tell your high point?
Yeah, the Mark Briscoe promo.
Oh yeah, you did. I'm stupid.
I mean, we all are. You know what I mean? It's not exclusive
to
just one person.
Stupid club. Leave a comment for us if you're stupid too.
I'm sure we might have a couple watchers that fall in that category. But my low point was that Yuta, Shafir, and Grillo and Ellering match. Who the fuck are those other two people? Who are they?
I couldn't even tell you. The only reason that I didn't pick that as my low point is because they had Nick Wayne out there, and even his mom's jugs couldn't save him.
Yeah, she had him on full display with the, I don't know what you call it, but she had it.
I imagine, I'm gonna be a sicko for a minute. I imagine that lady is insane in bed, even if she just lays there.
Well,
anyway,
I imagine that to kind of like compliment what you said there. I imagine that there's a good chance that there's a lot of people that have experienced that in that locker room, but what do I know?
Oh no! Well, good for them. I hope it's great for everybody involved. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I think we kind of had a similar rating with AEW Collision this week and WWE Smackdown, because we gave this a 2, just like Smackdown.
Yep. Whole lot of 2 ratings for these shows that basically were big steaming piles of 2.
Yeah, they weren't great. And I feel like a part of it, and the big reason why we give these such low ratings, because this isn't out of 5, folks, this is 10. But a big reason why we give this such a low rating is because the watchability, it's like normally some of the best TV wrestling shows of all time that me and Dave like, the interest is increased in what's happening at the end the whole time. Like by the fever pitch of the main event, fuck yeah, I'm ready to see this. As opposed to on a lot of these shows, it's just a match at the end that you're just like, oh, here's these motherfuckers again.
It's like, oh, good, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Well, it is time to care though, because it's time for the news.
And I got news for you.
Oh man.
Oh.
So
thank you, Mr. T.
So this week, like last week, I didn't separate it to have us start off and on, so it's going to be me leading almost all of these, if you're cool with that.
But I don't care. That's fine.
All right. Well, let's do it. So
that's awesome.
All right. Just letting you know. So we got WWE Smackdown Botch. So this was that match we were talking about, and that's Nia and Jade are a disaster waiting to happen. Waiting to happen or already happened?
In progress.
So let's not sugarcoat it. That Smackdown match, it was pretty ugly. Like hide it on Peacock, which is tough because they're not even on Peacock anymore, and pretend it never happened.
Oh, wow.
And everybody's pointing fingers, right? And the truth is that everybody except Tiffany kind of played a part in what happened in this match.
Yeah, and Tiffany's the only one who walked out of this with her credibility semi-intact. Everybody else, yikes. Look, normally you don't see communication with the ref, right? It's subtle. But here, you could tell they flat out didn't bother to tell her they were going home. So the poor ref, and by the way, she gets left holding the bag, is in a no-win situation. Count it, she's wrong. Don't count it, she's wrong. Either way, people online are blaming her like she's the one that messed up.
Exactly. And, you can't put this exactly just on her, right? This is on the wrestlers, too. I figured you have to communicate, that's kind of like probably day one Performance Center stuff, And then, like, for me, the biggest oh no moment wasn't even the finish, was Jade Cargill not protecting her head when she went into the steps. Like, I mean, that sucks, I feel for her. But, that's probably the kind of thing that you would learn pretty early on in your wrestling career, wouldn't you think? Put your hands up, even let the forearms, elbow, not your skull.
Yeah, I don't know why she wasn't protecting her head. And the crazy part is, earlier in the night, we were literally sitting here saying, you probably shouldn't put Nia Jax and Jade Cargill in the same match. Because if you were looking for a combo that screams somebody's about to get their neck rearranged, congratulations, you found it.
Yeah, it's like looking like two demolition derby drivers and hoping that they'll suddenly drive safe and smooth. Spoiler, I don't think they're going to. Nia has a track record that's about as long as WrestleMania itself. Sloppy, slow, confused, reckless, and Jade, even though she's been doing this for a little while, she's still greener than slime at like Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice Awards. She hasn't improved in years. She's slow. She's stiff. And at that point, it like some people just take to this, and it just doesn't feel like this is. She's not learning as quickly as some other people have or are around her that have been doing it the exact amount of time. Like Tiffany, same time.
Well, and she's not even going to have to go do OnlyFans like these other girls. But anyway, Jade looks amazing walking into the ring. But the second the bell rings, it's like, and Nia, man, she moves like she's on dial-up internet. The lag, unbelievable.
Yeah, and the scary thing here is it's not just like kind of botch mania funny, man. Like, this is some dangerous stuff. Somebody's going to get seriously hurt. And what's going to happen then? WWE can't act surprised like, that they didn't know that this was going to happen. It's basically like running the red light over and over again and praying nobody gets hit.
Yeah, and what does WWE do after this one? They edit the footage out. Like, hey, if we cut it from the replay, it's like it never happened. Sorry, no. We all saw it live, and it's not the Mandela effect. This happened. It was bad, and pretending otherwise kind of makes you look worse.
The bottom line is, this wasn't just a one-off mistake. This was a flashing neon sign saying, like, fix this now. Because if they don't, it's only a matter of time before somebody doesn't get back up.
Yeah, exactly. And this wasn't a botch. This is a warning shot. And by judging how it looked, this might be the first of many.
Yeah, I know you're the same on this, but we don't want to run anybody through the mud too bad because we're going to do that a little bit later, I think. But, we just, we want the best for everybody. And it's just kind of obvious that Nia's not really putting in the same amount of work that some of these other girls are. And, like as an athlete, like when you're taking it more seriously and you're working out a lot, your senses are kind of more in tune and you're going to react better and you're just more into what you're doing. You're focused. She doesn't seem very focused to me.
No, definitely not.
But same with Jade. But she looks good though.
They're focused on getting on out of there.
It's kind of the opposite.
Going back to the hotel.
Like Nia doesn't, she's not taking good care of herself, and then Jade looks fucking like $1 million.
I saw a picture of Nia like back in the day.
She looked good.
She actually used to be really pretty.
I saw that.
I mean, not that. I was just like, well, who's that? And they're like, oh, it's Nia Jax. I'm like, oh, damn.
She's not the worst looking woman in the world.
I'm not. We're not fat shaming. She is an attractive gal. She just needs to, drop like 70 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, we were just saying, compare athletically and work-wise, like her and Tiffany. And even though we're not asking her to look like Tiffany, but, there's a middle ground. She's not doing it. And
you could try.
Yeah, you can. But I think that can take us into the next thing that we're going to talk about here. And that's Chelsea Green talking about this topic. She's defending Nia Jax's WWE reputation, which is kind of ironic in a way. So Chelsea Green, this happened today. She hit us with this line, the internet not knowing that Nia Jax is one of the biggest and best is a travesty. We're lucky to have her as a locker room leader. So, Chelsea, if Nia Jax is the bar for leadership, then this company is going straight to hell in a handbasket, man.
Locker room leader? Please. She's only leading the catering line. And look, I'm not trying to be cruel, but let's be real. She's not here because of her promos. She's not here because of her work rate. She's here because she's The Rock's cousin. That's it. Family discount.
Exactly. The woman's highlight reel was basically a playlist of injuries. Becky Lynch gets her face broken. Well, she got over from that, so I guess that worked out. But Bayley's shoulder torn up. Kairi Sane getting concussed like it's an every other week thing. Zelina Vega, she smacked her so hard at Evolution that she basically disappeared. And we're supposed to pretend that this is some kind of like inspirational figure in the back.
Yeah, locker room leader, my ass. If she's teaching people anything, it's not how to take care of your opponents. Day one performance center stuff. Hey, don't actually injure the person you're working with. Well, apparently she skipped that class.
And the shape she's in, I mean, we just talked about this. We don't want to be too harsh on her, but most of the women in that division are, busting their asses. They're weight training, cardio, they're keeping sharp. And then Nia looks like she's been kind of like eating a steady diet of 7,000 calories a day and napping a lot. It's just not really believable. It's like putting your drunk uncle in at the Royal Rumble and then acting like he's going to be a serious contender.
Yeah, and then Chelsea's acting like fans are idiots for not seeing it. Nah, fans aren't blind. They know who's putting in the work, and they know who's just coasting on their last name.
Honestly, sometimes, you just got to say it. Nia Jax is bad at this. She's not a good promo. She's not a good wrestler. And she's not some great leader backstage. I mean, maybe she is, but no amount of Chelsea Greenspin is going to change that in my mind.
No. Right. If anything, Chelsea defending her just makes Chelsea look nuts too. Like, congratulations. You've joined the Gaslight the Fans Club.
So yeah, if this is what WWE calls a locker room leader, no wonder half the product feels like it's on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
Like that's who she's looking up to?
Yep. Pretty goofy. Well, don't forget they fired her back in 2021 because she was the shits, and then they brought her back because they thought maybe AEW might be interested in her, and it was just a time when they were trying to, take anybody that AEW could get that has any kind of name value.
Yeah, and then when she broke Becky Lynch's nose in 2018, injured Bayley in 2017, hurt Kairi Sane in 2020, did Zelina Vega at the first Evolution in 2018. She hurt Ember Moon's Achilles. She had like a sloppy shoot style match with Charlotte. Yeah, remember when it's like they like got like real on each other for a little bit? She roughed up R-Truth in the Royal Rumble apparently. And she like did that scary toss to Mandy Rose in 2020 that led to an injury scare, which I remember that, but I don't know. I want to go ahead.
I was gonna say that's why Mandy Rose is doing OnlyFans instead. She figured out that she could, not have to get hurt for real and, go show the jugs, I guess, for money.
So, I know this guy's been in the news a lot lately too, but what's Bret Hart famous for, or at least what he'll tell you he's famous for? He never hurt anybody.
Yep.
And that's the goal. You don't really want to hurt anybody, and it just seems like today a lot of people are hurting each other a lot, and she just has a record of doing it, and hopefully it works out the best for everybody because it's just pretty consistent here.
Good luck to us all.
Yeah.
Hopefully she never gets naked.
Oh no. I want to run from this as far away and fast as possible. So we're going to be talking about what happened to Gail Kim last week. Yeah, so we're going to break this one down. She's had one hell of a week last week and running into this week a little bit too. So it turned into like some kind of whole soap opera thing in like 48 hours. First, Gail Kim decides that she doesn't buy into Riho's presentation. She says the look, the gear, the size, it just doesn't sell the match for her. And that's fine. That's her opinion, right? We all have one.
Yeah, but the internet did what the internet does best. It lost its mind. Suddenly, Gail Kim's not just giving an opinion. She's body shaming. She's out of touch. She's trying to drag AEW. People are acting like she drop kicked a puppy.
Exactly. And then there comes Kenny Omega sliding in with a subtle, maybe you're just trying to get WWE's attention vibe, which, by the way, is hilarious. Like, she needs to beg WWE for anything at this point. She's in the Hall of Fame. She's retired. She's done. And I looked it up. She's married to a celebrity chef, one that's got a lot of money. So she's okay.
Right. Way more than her, yeah. But wait, there's more. BJ Bethel pops up with a tweet claiming Gail Kim actually reached out to AEW about a gig after her TNA exit, basically calling her a hypocrite mid-controversy.
Yeah, and
I really think that's hypocritical.
No, it's not. And then that's when Gail went full scorched earth. She flatly said, nope, wrong. I didn't seek them out. They texted me. And then she named Sanjay Dutt as the guy who messaged her. And then she also reminds everyone that she's retired and not chasing any contracts.
Which brings us to the real asshole here, BJ Bethel. And this is just the latest in a streak of bad scoops. First, he claimed AEW was pulling 500K viewers on the HBO Max with zero sources, no numbers to back it up. And it turned out to be completely made up. Then he said Warner Brothers Discovery had no debt, which is laughably false. And now he's just making up this Gail Kim rumor.
Yeah, at this point, it's not even journalism. It's just fan fiction with a byline.
Exactly. Dude's just throwing darts at blindfolded and calling it reporting.
Bottom line, Gail Kim gave her opinion on Riho. The internet melted down. Omega chimed in. Bethel tried to stir the pot with another fake story, and then Gail Kim shut it down. If anyone came out looking bad here, it wasn't Gail.
this BJ guy, he's a moron. And
you notice every time he comes out for something, who's like, what kind of narrative it is, what kind of side it's spun on.
Oh yeah, it's always some goofy blowing AEW stuff.
Which is fine, but blow the other company as much. Make it even, Don't make it seem like you're like biased. You're supposed to have journalistic integrity, right?
Right, that's definitely a thing. And I don't think that's been a thing since we were children, though.
No, and you know who all these guys learn this stuff from?
Old Uncle Dave.
Yep. It seems to be a common theme, Some of these guys I feel like are better at it than Dave is, like, or at least will have a little bit more integrity. Like PW Insider. I think those guys are good, and there's a couple like Andrew Zarian. He actually worked for Dave at one point. I think he's has some integrity, but in the end, just all we had to do was call the girl and ask her, but it just
well
doesn't work for me, brother. Does it?
No, it doesn't, dude.
All right. Well, I think.
Speaking of things that don't work, why don't you tell us about the next news?
Okay, I think I'm going to.
Hell yeah!
Thanks for that suggestion, because I think we got a good one here, and it's Eric Bischoff. He gives Cena's retirement run here a C, and I think we both kind of agree, right? So
yeah, maybe even lower, but let's see how it goes.
Well, Eric Bischoff graded John Cena's final run a C, and honestly, I can't argue too much. For once, Bischoff and I guess both of us here are on the same page.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When Bischoff, of all people, is the voice of reason, maybe WWE really did drop the ball here, because he laid it out. If the Brock loss was leading to a redemption story, fine. But it was just hey, John, you're losing tonight. And that's just lazy booking.
And I think we all know which one it was, right? They didn't plan this out. From Cena randomly beating Cody at WrestleMania to that heel turn that they tried and then bailed on after 2 weeks. It was a little bit longer than 2 weeks, but, it sucked. Nobody wanted anything to do with it. So I feel like this whole run's kind of felt mapped out. It's just been throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, and the sad part is none of it stuck. No classic matches. No promos we'll remember. Cena's whole thing was always stepping up, whether it was with Edge, Punk, or later with AJ Styles. He always delivered something that people could point back to. This run, it's just been there.
Yeah, and he's basically just been a traveling attraction grab, right? For cash. Cena's in town. Come see him live. And that's fine, if he's like some kind of special guest or something. But this is supposed to be his retirement run, right? The final run of John Cena. And then like WWE just kind of blew it. Where's the plan?
Yeah. And that's where Bischoff's Babe Ruth analogy comes in. Fans want to see the legend go out with a walk-off home run. Instead, Cena's standing there striking out on bad creative. Nobody's buying tickets to watch Babe Ruth whiff, and nobody wanted to see Cena's last chapter be this flat.
Yeah, bottom line, Cena deserved a send-off with meaning, not a string of forgettable appearances. And if this was really the end, WWE didn't need to drop the ball, They never even tried to pick it up here. I guess they did when they stopped the heel run, but, I mean, I don't know. I'm just left underwhelmed.
The whole thing has been questionable booking. It sucked, largely.
Yeah. And what's Eric supposed to do? You ask him a question, and he didn't even shit on it. It's largely forgettable. It didn't do it for him, which I think's pretty fair.
Hey, let's not forget here, before everybody gets mad and gets the pitchforks out, C is average.
Yeah.
That average isn't necessarily bad. It just isn't great.
Yeah. You would expect better than average for the circumstances of what they were doing.
Exactly.
And, I don't want to shit on Cena. He seems, he's a wrestling legend after all. But, I think me and you share the same opinion here, is that his time as the top guy in the company was semi-forgettable as well. It was just not nearly as interesting as Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, any of those guys when they were on top. And, I didn't expect much from this, really, to tell you the truth, but I figured they would at least had a better plan than what they did.
Yep. But nope, they did not.
Well, I think we can move on to something else that's kind of critical of WWE. And I know we both agree on this one here because we talk about this shit all the time. So we got record profits, record boredom. So the record profits here, well, They got a lot of them. And if I had $1 for every time that WWE mentioned that on one of their programs, I'd have apparently as much money that they do.
Yeah, but you wouldn't spend it on storylines either. You just keep bragging about it while booking the same rematch for the 4th time.
Exactly. Like, cool, you're rich. Meanwhile, people are paying $200 for a ticket to watch 3 hours of video packages and 2 decent matches.
And then they'll have wrestlers drop it in promos. Like, that's what gets people invested. I'm going to kick your ass. And by the way, we had a record quarter, dude.
Yeah, nothing says badass like a PowerPoint presentation, right?
Right? I'm waiting for Triple H to walk out with a pie chart. That slice right here, this is how much we saved by cutting your favorite wrestler.
And the fans and the crowd are like, cool, bro, but when do we get the good wrestling?
Well, you don't. You get record profits. Congratulations. Hope you like graphs.
Yeah, record profits don't pop the crowd. They don't make matches better. All they make is corporate execs fatter, wallets fatter.
Yep, and maybe a bigger yacht. But hey, if the yacht's got pyro, maybe they'll book it for SummerSlam.
Record profits, record boredom. WWE needs to figure out real quick that fans don't chant for these balance sheets. They chant for storylines that actually matter, or just like good matches.
Yeah, and until then, it's just WWE brought to you by Wall Street.
Yeah, and before we move on, it's just, we talk about this all the time. Name one show that they haven't done that at lately. I can't do it.
I feel like it's been like that the entire year.
Could you imagine going to your job and then like they haven't given you any more money and they've actually like everything's gotten more expensive and then like, yeah, we made record profits here. You'd be like, oh fuck this sucks.
Yeah.
Could you imagine going
Where's my record of this being awesome or getting more money or what's going on here?
Imagine going to Waffle House, sitting down, it's 1 a.m., and they announce that they had their best, most profitable night ever. You don't care about that. Undertaker was talking about this the other day, you remember?
Yep. Just goofy.
He's like a corporate... He's like a typical case of like, maybe don't get to know your heroes, because he's a funny guy.
Yeah, the more that he talks, the more that I'm just like, oh no, not you too, Undertaker. Come on.
Yeah. Well, enough with the CNBC talk. We can get into something that actually matters here, which is a little bit more WWE talk as well, and that's WWE Crown Jewel 2025. Big names but no soul. So WWE's been rolling out Crown Jewel, and on paper, like WrestlePalooza, it looks stacked. Cena versus AJ Styles. Seth versus Cody for the Crown Jewel Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vakir for the Crown Jewel one for the women, right? A card full of names fans love to see.
Yeah. But that's the same playbook they used for WrestlePalooza. That card was star-studded too. But what did we actually get? A short, undercooked event that felt like it was missing something? Almost like WWE's banking on the names instead of the stories.
And that's the problem, right? It's one thing to put these big matches together on paper, but if the build's weak and the show has no energy, then you've got another soulless PLE. That's what WrestlePalooza was. It looked incredible on paper, but by the end, fans were left pretty disappointed, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. And these shows feel more like obligations than passion projects. WWE overhypes them, pushes the marketing hard, and then when you sit down to watch, pacing's weird, the stories don't click, and you're left with good talent that's doing largely forgettable work.
Yeah, and it's kind of frustrating watching this over and over again because the talent, they deserve better. Cena, AJ, Seth, Cody, these aren't filler names. These are the guys who can deliver classic matches if you give them something meaningful to work with. Instead, they just keep throwing them in matches that feel like they exist just to sell tickets.
Oh yeah, Crown Jewel might end up being another star-studded but soulless show. We hope it's not, but history tells us WWE is more interested in selling the hype than actually following through. And if they don't figure it out, they're going to keep giving us events people forget a week later.
Yeah, you were thinking about going to Smackdown the other day, weren't you?
I sure was. It was, excuse me, I'm yawning. Talking about this terrible shit is making me tired. But, yeah, it was in Orlando. Orlando's about an hour and 45 from me. Tickets were expensive, and I didn't want to drive almost 2 hours each way and then sit in an event that I didn't think was going to be very good for 3 hours.
you pay a lot of money for, you're going to eat shit and like it, is what it's called. That sounds terrible.
Which is weird because, a couple of weeks ago it was just in Chicago, by Brandon, and we're telling Brandon to go, and he ultimately didn't go, and then that was an actually good episode.
Yeah, that was like a cross show with SmackDown and Raw guys, right? Those are all usually pretty good.
Yeah, that was like a week or two before the PLE, the one where AJ came back.
Yeah, it's I really hope that they figure this out, man, because it's they have TV somewhat figured out, but it's not consistent, and the pay-per-views they definitely don't have figured out. They at one point were really on a roll and they were entertaining people, but it's, I don't know. Maybe Triple H needs to hand the lead booking to somebody else for a little bit. I don't know, and I know that's not going to happen. But they used to do that, back in the territory. Somebody do it for the year, then hand it to somebody else for a year. Like Dusty, yeah. he wouldn't hand over complete control, but he'd be like, "All right, you do the book," so it wouldn't get stale. But I guess not, right?
Yep, guess not.
Yeah, that's similar to Tony. Never going to happen.
Nope. Speaking of getting stale.
Yeah. So what? It's these WWE experimental start times that we were talking about?
Yep.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, so do I. But this is kind of a mix here. And I think we talked about this before, like we just said. And Raw's been jumping around with the starts time lately, and everybody's wondering why. Is it a permanent thing, or are we just kind of the guinea pigs for some Netflix experience?
Well, from what I've seen, it's basically them just trying to dodge Monday Night Football. They don't want to get steamrolled by the NFL every week. So the idea is start earlier and grab people before the game kicks off.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? But then you got these shows in places like California where if you start Raw at 7 p.m. Eastern, that means that people are going to be expected to be in their seats at 4 p.m. local time? That's not going to work. Nobody's leaving work early just to catch the first match.
Yeah, exactly. And why some of the October shows are already set to move back to 8 p.m. Eastern. It's not like this is locked in. They're testing it out to see how it plays with the live crowd, with ratings, and especially Netflix's global schedule. Can't talk.
Yeah, well, right, because Netflix doesn't care about traditional TV times, right? They're probably looking at it like, okay, what window gives us the most streams across the board? Not just in the U.S. It's less about just the USA network habits and more about how this lines up for streaming globally, right?
Yep. And now WWE, if it makes them more money, they'll keep it. If it doesn't, they'll quietly slide it back to the usual time and pretend none of this ever happened.
So bottom line, don't get too attached to the new start time. Some week it's going to be 7, some week it's going to be 8. And then one week in November, it's going to be at 8 in the morning because of Crown Jewel that's going to be in Australia. So I guess just embrace all this, right?
Is it really going to be at 8 in the morning?
Yeah.
Or is that... Oh, no.
Yep.
Well, the cool thing about that is it'll already be over by the time I'm up by then. For most people, it'll already be over by the time that just don't open your social media before you watch it and get the whole card spoiled for you.
The news headlines try to end up doing a little bit better and hiding the tags and all that, so you don't at least see it through if you just go to news stuff. But you're right, stay away from it. But remember, we like 6 when they did 6 last.
Yeah, 6 was real good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. You could kind of get it over and still enjoy a part of your night. Because when these go on later, man, and especially AEW some nights, because you've already worn out for a couple of days during the weeks. It's Wednesday. I've been already run ragged, and this show stinks, and I'm gonna fall asleep while I watch it. Doesn't happen as much at 6.
No, you're not passing out asleep by the end. Oh shit, I fell asleep and missed the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, that and I'm just more attentive. Even if I don't fall asleep, It's 6. It's
more alert.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think that being said, we'll be interested in seeing where they land up, or where they end up there, and if they ever end up doing a different time. Because you can bet if they end up getting more streams and more ad revenue, and it starts at 4:00, they'll start doing 4. But I doubt that'll happen. I think 7's the most realistic opportunity if they ever do change it. But I'd expect 8 long term.
Yeah. Most likely, I don't really see them moving from 8, but you never know.
Yep. Well, I think something that we do know is that was the last segment here. So we're going to wrap this whole episode up here, Dave.
Yeah. Thanks for that round of applause to our wonderful audience.
Yeah. So I appreciate you, Dave. You know, we're on this podcast journey together. We got the Overmaniacs listening. We're grinding it out. We're learning. We're doing that in everyday job. We apply that what is it? That method to everything we do in life, and I don't know where I'm going on about. That's it. I just appreciate you. Oh, I don't know. That's a really good question.
Get it all out, you little hoa.
Oh no. What was his name?
Ralph.
That's right. Yeah, Ralph. He ends up killing Ralph. Spoiler, because he ends up killing Pi Oh My.
Spoiler alert from the almost 20-year-old show.
Yeah.
Hey, she was a hoa.
Yeah, was the worst offender with calling the hua stuff.
Yeah, his is the best. Chris's is really good. You know,
when he's upset.
You fucking hoa.
No, you got him when he's upset. You
fucking hoa.
There we go.
Or like Polly's is pretty good too.
And she's even worse. She's a whore. My mother's a fucking whore.
He was big upset on that one.
Yeah.
Big upset.
Yeah. He ended up finding out that wasn't his real mom, I'm pretty sure. And then he's sitting here paying for her to live up in some fucking place. I forget the exact circumstances, but he wasn't happy with her. And he threw her TV that he bought her out the window. You remember that? And it was like one of the first flat screen ones. It was a nice one. Not the flat panel, but the flat screen. So it was a still big old tube one. But
CRT.
Yeah. Some of those things were pretty nice. I hope one day to be able to have enough money to have a fancy collection of CRTs. That's one of the goals. Doubt it'll happen, but
that'd be pretty cool.
I'm optimistic.
There's a specific Sony one that I see in a lot of these groups that everybody's like, this is the best CRT, blah, blah.
It's a certain kind of Trinitron.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, this is a Trinitron too, but this is a PVM. But there's a whole bunch of different TVs. But yeah, generally I think the best overall brand back then for sure 100% was Sony, and it was their Trinitron line. But we can get into the CRT talk another time. Just to wrap it up, appreciate you. We're going to have this thing at you at some point next week or at the end of this week. We'll get it to you. We're not sure when, but we're going to have 2 a week like we always talk about. Even they could come out within 3 seconds of each other. There'll be 2 a week. But until then, I'm going to sign off for here. Check out our social medias at OverMark ENT. Hit us up on Twitter. Leave something in the comments. Check out our new short that we put up about Cody Rhodes and Street Fighter. But I'm going to wrap up, hand it to you, Dave, and then we're out of here.
Well, thanks for the fun episode, TJ. Thanks for being flexible with the start time. I appreciate you. Thanks for all your hard work that you do every day, whether it's hard work on the show or hard work in your real life. You're the man. And I will leave you all with this.
I can't find pussy anywhere.
Oh, he can't, can he?
Nope.
All right, well, we're out of here.
DJ's yelling at a gift, Dave's eating crab. We skipped our bills to watch Raw live and ranked 800 wrestlers just to survive. Our muscles are fake. Our takes are loud. We booed a toddler for chanting too proud. So tune in next week, or don't, we'll still shout. Two grown